Hey, hi everyone. Good evening, and I hope you're doing well. Today's session, I want you people to give some insights on how to prepare, what to prepare, right? And these are some of the pretty common questions that we get. So, as part of the session, I would want you people to look into your resume first. Okay, deep dive, take a step back, and plan first on what you have to put in your resume. Right? Because resume becomes the most important tool for you to get the calls. And along with that resume, of course, there are a bunch of other things that you have to do. Right? Now, let me ask you one thing. You have a task at hand, okay? You need to get some personal work at your home, right? Would you give that particular task to randomly anyone and pay money to them? Don't you want to check their skill sets before you actually assign a task to them? Right? Now, when you are doing such actions, don't you think companies will do that? It ultimately depends on your skill sets that will land you a job. But again, marketing is important. If you don't get any opportunity, how would you showcase your skills? Right? That is also another very important aspect. So it is a balance that you have to make. Right? So a lot of people try to claim that, hey, I'm a data scientist, I've got trained and all that. Are you really trained? Training does not mean you just attend the sessions, do some cases, use cases, assignments and all that. No. When you are facing an interview, right, there will be a lot of demons, of course, but one of the most very important question is, what is your exposure on working on that particular solution? What are the various challenges that you have encountered practically? Now, these are very important questions, right? So you have to try and get the internship opportunity. You have to take up multiple internship projects. You don't have to look out for one organization. You can parallelly take up multiple internship opportunities, whether you're a working professional or a college fresh graduate. You're not working anywhere, you're a fresher. Irrespective of your current professional condition, you can always take up internships, provided it is not hampering your current professional timelines, whatever the commitment that you have with your employer, that should not get hampered. So internships are not illegal. Please understand that. You're open to learn more things, provided you're not basically giving less importance to your current employer. That's more important. So take up multiple internship projects, balance your time properly. More the projects you do, more the exposure you get. Right? Now, when you talk about projects, a lot of people have expectations that this is something different. Right? What you have seen in Kaggle is what you're getting here also. Of course, what do you think Kaggle is? Kaggle is basically a platform where the organizations bring up their unresolved problems to community. Right? They say that, hey, this is my problem, you please solve it. And whoever is winning, whoever is giving us the best solution, we will pay them. Rather than paying for an entire team, they will pay 1, 2, 3 people. Based on the budget the project has, the organization has, they will assign those projects on this platform. A lot of people don't understand this, right? And they say that the internship opportunities that you're getting are fake. No, it doesn't work that way. You're getting exposure to work with some business cases, right? So you have to take each and every project that you're getting as your job. You have to be dedicated, and you have to try and work on these projects end to end by yourself. Then you'll get the exposure. right from understanding the business requirements. Take up as many projects as possible. That would help you to gain that practical exposure. As a data scientist, you have to give an optimum solution using data and performing analytics on that data. Now, if you always speak about only technical aspects, then no, that is not a data science job. You may be very good with your Python programming. You are coming from programming background. You're very good. Any task that you are assigned in programming, you're solving it. That is not sufficient. Because unless until you understand the applicability of that particular solution in business, there's no point, right? Whatever you do, there's no point. Same case, vice versa. You are very good with your business knowledge. Business acumen is awesome. But if you're not able to implement what you are trying to implement by yourself, then there is no point, right? Because we're trying to get jobs. And you should be ready with all these skill sets. Now, what all things need to prepare, right? You might be getting training in data science subjects. Now, data science subject is containing many things. A whole load of things are there, right? Statistical concepts. Though the basics, mathematical basic concepts will be there, right? Stats and maths. You'll talk about machine learning algorithms. You'll also try to learn domain, enhance your domain skills. But are they sufficient? What does the job description say? Do you even read that? Right? When you are preparing, when I say preparation, preparation does not mean only learn these things that you have try to learn in your training duration, right? You're not doing that. A whole lot of things are there along with this training that you are getting. Now, in order to understand, all are related, all are, see, it's not rocket science, all are at least related. And if you don't know what are those things, at least theoretical knowledge should be there, right? So to understand what all things, additional things you have to learn, you have to keep looking out for job descriptions that are getting published in various portals. Job portals, keep an eye always on those job portals. Are you doing that? If not, do that. List out the tasks that these job descriptions are highlighting. If you read 10 different job descriptions, there may be 10 different things that they're asking. But there are certain things which you can accomplish. List them down. Whatever you know, try to enhance it further. Whatever you don't know, target those things. At least theoretically, you need to learn. You can clearly tell that in the interview as well. See, I did never get an opportunity to work on this area, but I know what does that mean. And I'm more than interested to work on those areas as well. Now that shows your confidence when you're facing interviews. Are you doing that? This is all part of preparation. You have to balance your time between trying to enhance the business knowledge by reading. Are you doing this? So keep asking yourself, are you doing this? When I talk about reading, I'm talking about business journals. There are a lot of publications, right? Business news and all those things, they get published every day. Try to read them. Newspaper is good enough to start with. There are a lot of research organizations like KPMG, which is also into research, Gartner, Forbes, Economist, right? So a lot of such articles get published in various forums. Read them. This would enhance your knowledge in the domain and as part of as well as your business skills. Then practice. When I say practice, I'm talking about Python as well as your machine learning algorithms. Are we doing this? Any language you talk about, right? You'll not become proficient just by training for, let's say, 10 days, 20 days, or 30 days for that matter, or for 6 months that matter. Even today, I learn English. I've been speaking English from almost probably maybe my fifth standard, fourth standard, I don't know. But still, even today, I'm learning. Any language is like that. It is a constant learning that you have to do. So you have to keep practicing. There's never end to a learning of a language. And Python is a language, remember that. Right? Keep practicing. Keep practicing. Algorithms. You might have learned about regression algorithms. You might have learned about classification algorithms. Right? Bunch of other things like NLP concepts. Then you talk about ensemble models, time series models. Very good. But do you also know what are the drawbacks of these models? What are the advantages of these models over each other? Did you prepare a comparison table like this for all the models? Think, right? You should be able to say why a model is preferred over other in a given scenario. So if you are preparing on this comparison table also, then it will become very easy for you to understand which model will go better in a given scenario. Also, there is a lot of research work that is happening in machine learning area. Are there any new models that are being developed? Any enhancements that have happened? Right? So you have to keep a watch for that also. All these are additional things that you are preparing, enhancing so that you become a complete data scientist, not bits and pieces. Right? And persistency, consistency is the key, friends. Now, once you are preparing, right? Once you have prepared all this, then how do I make all this in resume? How do I convey myself? Again, let's say you are basically a recruiter. Think yourself as a recruiter. Put yourself in the position of a recruiter. Always do this. You open your resume. Maybe you might be biased. Help your friend. There might be a group of people who are trying to learn together. You exchange your resumes. Try to be a critic. Right? Take it as a positive feedback. If there is something which is identified which is not correct, take that as a feedback. Correct yourself. Open the resume of your friends or yours for that matter. Check each and every aspect. Is the look and feel of the resume good? Or you want to purchase something in Amazon or, so let's say, a gift shop or any shop, right? Brick and mortar store. If I give you the product without any package, would you buy it? Don't you look at the packaging? Isn't it? That is the first strategy to attract anyone. So resume also should be attractive. So the template, the design, the look and feel, everything should be very, very good, creative. So try to be creative. I see a lot of resumes, and sorry to say to all those people, you don't value yourself. You don't have time to prepare your resume, to beautify it. You groom yourself, you comb, you put makeup, you wear nice clothes. For God's sake, this is your resume. Prepare it. Spend time. And I would recommend you spend at least 1 week, right, to build a proper resume. It's a journey. It's not one-time activity. Okay. It takes time. The entire week you spend, think about only your resume. What should be there? What should not be there? And all that. And once it is done, every day, spend 15 minutes going through that. I'm sure every day you'll find some change in that. Some enhancements will be there. Do that. You give value to yourself first. When you give value to your learning, to yourself, your resume will reflect that. If you don't give value to yourself, then your resume will also not reflect, and nobody cares about it. Now, as a recruiter, what would you want in a resume? If I want to hire anybody, think like that. If I want to hire anybody, What are the main aspects that I need? Properly organized content that shows discipline, organized content. I'm not even going into the technicalities. I'm only talking about look and feel, right? Nice design, graphics to give a quick overview of what you have in your resume, plots, right? Put some graph chart, bar charts, pie charts, different things. It attracts. Visualizations will always attract. Then important, your education details should be there, because I would definitely want to look at those things. Academics, right? Education details. And your projects. If you are a working professional, then you also have to mention what is your current work. If you are a fresher, then I would definitely want to look at what are your academics, what are your other preparations that you are doing for your career. Attitude matters. Remember that. Have the right attitude. Don't have a negative attitude. Okay. So once you are designing your template, then when you are entering the details, use proper grammar, friends. I do see resumes which do not even have a proper sentence formations. You are careless. You cannot be careless with your career. Grammatical tagging, full stops, punctuation marks, you use properly. There are so many tools that you can use which can help you with grammar. Right? I'm not saying that you have to be a super duper story writer. No. But at least whatever you are mentioning in your resume, that should be of correct grammar. You cannot make typos and irregular, very bad sentence formations and all that. It reflects. Remember, everything is reflecting your character there. Right? When I say character, it could be attitude, it could be respect towards your work, dedication, your technical capabilities, your time management, everything. Right? It reflects. So you have to be very careful with resume. Right? Grammar. Then the right keywords should be there, friends. Now, what keywords would you use? You have to understand how the resumes are picked up for that. There's something called as ATS, automated tracking system. The portals, job portals, they use this technique. What they do is they take job description from an employer, and in this job description, there will be keywords which will be understood. You are data scientist. Everybody knows what does keywords or tokens means. Using NLP capabilities, the tokens are captured. And then from your resume also, the keywords are captured. Tokens are captured. And then the mapping of these two happens. And there will be a score. Quantifying, right? We are trying to quantify everything. So we get score. People who have high score for this mapping, only their resumes get selected. Others, no. It says that you don't have the skills that are required here. For example, in the JD, it is said that you need to have data science skills. If JD speaks about this, then your resume should have that word. If requirement says that you need to have NLP, then your resume should have it. Maybe they are saying sentiment analysis rather than detailing or generalizing like NLP. They specifically say that you need to have sentiment analysis capability, perform sentiment analysis. Then do you have this term in your resume? If yes, if he has, then mapping happens. If JD says DS and if you write data science, sorry, even though you are talking about the same thing, but it is not mapping, right? So hence you have to constantly keep looking out for the job description and their respective keywords that are being used. And you have to design the content in such a way that these keywords are there in your resume. This is the first battle that you're winning, right? You're understanding the algorithm, the concept of how these resumes are picked up automatically, and then managing your resumes to, right, get your resumes also picked up by this algorithm. It does not mean that they're asking about something and you don't know, but still you put it. No, don't do that. Somebody says you need to have PySpark capabilities. If you have, yes, definitely put it. But if you don't have, don't mention that. You may say that you are learning PySpark. You can say trainings, undergoing PySpark training, trying to upskill on PySpark. That way you can mention, but you don't say that you have technical capabilities in PySpark. Don't do that. Right? This is very important with respect to content. Right keywords have to be there, and those keywords are picked up from job description themselves. Now, it does not mean that every time you keep updating a new resumes and all. No, you have to design something which is balancing everything. And once you get a call, you read about the company, right? You look out for all the job descriptions, see what company is asking for what job requirements, what specific roles. If you read about the company, you can simply do Google. You'll understand what domain they operate in, what are their products or what are their services, core services. This would clearly tell you on what is expected from you. And once you understand this, you prepare another version of resume, which is like matching to the first version and to these requirements, showcasing your experience, highlighting your experience in those areas. Right? This is something that you are basically going to do. Remember, resume is important. Then keep your LinkedIn account active. Right? Anything that you are learning or anything technically you are upskilling yourself, you have to update that in your LinkedIn profile. If you're working on a project without disclosing the data details, without disclosing the client details, without giving too much of technical ideas, because competitors are always there, right? They always try to copy. This is something you are working on, then without giving much of the information, you might want to explain what you're learning, right? That would create curiosity. At the same time, that would also highlight your profile in the area where you are trying to focus. As a recruiter, when I look at your LinkedIn profile, I should get that impression that yes, this person's resume looks relevant for what I'm looking out for. And the information is legitimate because LinkedIn also speaks about that. Then GitHub repository, very, very important. Another core area that you have to look out for. I know a lot of people don't have GitHub repository. If you don't have, fine, you create it now. It's an open source. It's just a platform like your Gmail account, like your Facebook account. Create a GitHub repository and put up the work that you have done there. And always remember, you cannot share sensitive information because this is also public repository that you are going to make. There are certain things you'll keep it private. You know better. So when you are writing this public content in GitHub, basically you're trying to highlight the skills that are there in your resume. Everything should be like in sync. Then Quora. This is also something, right, which probably gives you some weightage. If you have Quora account, try to answer certain questions that you are familiar with, right? Teaching others is always the best way to learn. That is what I have learned from my 15 years career of teaching, right? So try to teach someone, you will learn a lot. Quora is the bridge. And yes, Kaggle, this is to keep you going, practicing. Even if you don't have any projects, always keep working on Kaggle projects that are available. Register, try to just get your hands dirty. That's okay. Even If you don't get anything, that's absolutely fine, but constantly be there. And if you can get a good ranking, then automatically, right, your recruiters, I mean, your profile will be picked in recruiters. They will simply call you. And not the last one, which is very important, of course, not least, your personal networking is very important, right? You keep telling everybody that, hey, I'm looking out for a job opportunity in this particular space. You announce that to everyone, not just on LinkedIn, but social media platforms, right? Public networks, your personal networking. There also you keep talking about it. You never know, any one of your family or friend circles, they are working in a company where they are looking out for professionals where your role might exactly suit. Right? So these are some of the things which very, very important you have to put that. Right? So I've talked about right from your preparation, skills that you have to enhance, what all things you have to learn, take a cue from the job description that you are getting nowadays. See, it's an evolving world, right? We constantly keep evolving. So what are those new things that are coming up? Do you have those skills? Trust me, 80% of them you know. Right? Terminologies might change. The application of those concepts might change. So you have to keep looking out for that. And the rest of the 20% of the things that you don't know, learn. That gives you a better scope to get the job opportunities. You have to help yourself to start with so that others can help you. All right. Next, what are those things that are most referred by hiring partners or recruiters? If you look at this, this is right, some news picked up from forums, online forums. LinkedIn is the most looked out platform for resumes. Recruiters are looking out in your LinkedIn profiles. So make sure you have legitimate, authentic, relevant data in LinkedIn platforms. Right? Don't fake anything. Faking is not going to help your friends. Right? It will not help you in any way. Take up more internship opportunities. That is going to help you. Anything which will help you to learn is always good. Encourage that. Then, when you're updating, as I mentioned, there are certain things which are mandatory. Education details. Now, a lot of people don't put that. Either you are too shy to reveal your marks, right? Or you don't care about it. You may not be caring about it, but organizers, recruiters want to look at that because that would define your build up into the market, right? How you have come to this particular stage, how your preparations, what kind of seriousness was there in your preparation. So if you have good marks, of course you'll highlight, but if you don't have good marks, you put that, you still say, yes, this is what I've learned. There's nothing to hide, right? You put these education details. But yeah, if you have less aggregates, less marks, then try to cover up this by projects. You highlight projects more and highlight this. I mean, you don't highlight this, right? But you have to mention that. If you don't put that details in the resume, immediately there would be a negative thought creeping into your recruiters, right? That you don't want. You have to show that you're confident. And as I mentioned, the keywords, compare, keep a lookout in the job descriptions for the keywords and try to use them. Data pre-processing. We used to call this as data pre-processing, data preparation, right? These words are still using. They are still being used. But nowadays, we also have something called as data engineering. right? This is the new keyword, new buzzword that is there in the market. So have you looked out on what are the actual requirements for data engineering? For a data engineer, what are those things which are required? If you carefully look out on this data engineering job roles, you will see that majority of those requirements are something you already know. They may be speaking about certain tools which are new in the market. Now, learning tools is not a big deal. Tools come and go, right? You can easily pick up the tools. But what is that exactly you have to do using those tools? Logically try and understand that subject, right? So keywords are appropriately have to be used in your resume, and look out for those keywords. Don't put dummy projects. When I say dummy projects, look into some resume and copy paste. No, don't do that, right? It's very easy to identify that you copied or whether you have put up your original work. The project might be on the similar lines. For example, you talk about employee churn rate. Sorry, employee attrition rate, my bad. Employees attrit. This is pretty common problem that is there in the world. When you actually work on this use case, you would basically speak up on practical aspects of the implementation. If you copy paste of this project, if you do that as a copy paste, you'll not be able to speak about those things in your resume as well. Right? You can Google search for this. There are a lot of readily available GitHub repositories and readily available blogs which speak about all this, right? Employee attrition, problem statement, and the solution. But don't copy paste it. Right? That's important. If you are a working professional, then give least importance to academic projects. If you are a fresher, you're just fresh graduate, right, passed out from a university or college, then yes, you have to highlight that. I don't care where you learn these things from, unless until it is like ISB or IIMs. I don't care, right? So not required. Right? So no dummy projects, no copying. And to enhance your domain capabilities, you have domain skills. You might have studied, you have basically learned, educated, your education is in a specific stream. You basically try to enhance that domain skills by picking up internship opportunities in those areas. If you can get it, it is always going to help. If it does not help you, look out for Kaggle competitions in that particular segment, that particular domain. Try to do your hands-on these things. POCs, proof of concepts. Lot of projects are implemented as proof of concepts. And if you can showcase your skills or you can implement a solution in this particular problem statement, then that can be productized. So try and look out for POCs, implement some proof of concepts in your domain. Your domain, so you know what is best in that particular domain. Pick up a commonly faced problem and start trying to solve that using data. That is all about analytics, right? You're free with. Experiment. This would enhance your skills from multiple aspects. Your business skills will enhance, your programming skills will enhance, your business knowledge will enhance, right? Domain, everything. Right? Practical challenges when you're trying to implement these solutions. That is also another thing that you need to understand. You learn that. Right? And for every project, when you're doing, this is just an add-on, when you are getting into projects, make sure that you will have a properly defined architectural diagram for your project, which need to show where is your data coming from, What are various touch points where you will be using that data for different things, and then what is your destination. This architecture flow has to be there. Okay, that basically allows you to understand the entire flow and speak about that project very neatly in your interviews as well. Of course, you'll always be able to explain that in your resume also in a proper way. And very important, friends, when you are representing the details about your project, give proper details. It should not be too small, too big. Right? Some people just write one line paragraph or one line statement about your project, or maybe a small paragraph. It does not speak about anything in your resume. You have to be short, but at the same time, you have to be crisp and clear on all those details that you want to highlight. So if you're not able to do it, no problem. Give a brief description and then explain it. But you have to put this projects page at the end, fag end, so that your project, the important information is there at the top. You can also say refer below page for complete details on the project. You can put a tag and then add more pages on your resume. If you want to give more details, you can do always, this strategy you can implement. And when you're doing this, you talk about what is the data source, what are various areas where you are going to implement this, what tools you're using, what libraries you're using, what will be the bottlenecks, challenges when you're implementing this process, and most importantly, your feature engineering and EDA is to be highlighted. This would basically speak about descriptive analytics. And what did you find out by doing descriptive analytics on the data? You highlight the points. And after that, once you do the model building, here you are going to talk about how you tuned your model. How did you find the best model? What parameters were tuned? What values gave you the best result? Are those parameters, are those attributes that you are tweaking, are those justified? Practically, are those justified? Can we use them in our business case, right? That's something that you need to understand. And once this is done, what are the business benefits? How is this solution impacting the business? You talked about business objective problem, but whether it solves the business problem or not, if it is solving, then how is it solving, right? What are the benefits that business will have if you add this, right? You explain, you also talk about technical things, like what all various tools you will have used in this particular project. All those things have to be detailed out, right? You have to do what, right? All this, you have to somehow put everything, right? All these things in your resume in maximum 2 pages. If you have more projects, as I mentioned, you talk about them and then you say, refer to this particular page for details on the project. You keep adding that information, but to begin with, 2 pages at max. You have to be creative, as I mentioned. Use the space of the document you see in more appropriate way to include all these details, right? And once again, I'm saying we are in evolving world. There are new things which will always keep coming up. You have to constantly keep learning on those things, right? So try to do that. And if you have any queries, we are here to help you. We may not be able to address or answer everybody at one time, but if you have any question, you'll always come to us. Please do that, and we'll try to address in whatever way we can. If you're not able to address, at least we'll guide you on what could be the best possible solution, or who should you refer to, or who should you contact. All right, we'll try to do that. So you get your resume screened as well, right? And peer review is very good way to do that. right? Peer review. As I've already mentioned this at the beginning of the session, this particular video, I've already mentioned that you get your resume reviewed by your friends or your colleagues who are already in that area, right? Who are working in that space. Even share, I would say, show your resume to someone who doesn't know anything about what you're talking about. At least they will try to find out grammar mistakes, right? When they read to understand what you've mentioned, they will try to identify those typos and grammar mistakes. They will ask questions that may give you some new idea to tweak your resume. And every day, minimum 15 minutes on your resume. Every day, 15 minutes on your resume. Remember that. And keep updating. If you are already on portals, then keep updating your resume in portals. That way, your resume will always be fresh, right? That will tell the portals also that you're actively seeking for jobs. And your resume will be given preference. They also have weightages on those aspects as well, right? And please do prepare. Chase your passion. If you sit idle, if you keep complaining, then nothing happens. You have to prepare well. You have to chase your dreams. All right. And before I wind up, I just want to add one more point. I would always say to ask a simple question. Why should I be hired? Ask this question. Stand in front of a mirror and ask this. What is that one thing which gives you that unique advantage? Enhance that skill. All right. Keep asking this question, and that would help you to define your resume also, your character also in your resume. All the best, friends, and good luck. And yeah, happy learning and chase your dreams. Thank you so much. I'll take a leave and look out for the opportunities which basically are out there. Thank you so much. Please be safe and good night, friends.